Greetings. What's going on? I wanted to take a minute or two or three or four to chat about what comes after healing. It seems silly. What do you mean? We're always healing. Healing doesn't end. You're always growing and learning, and it's a never-ending thing of practice and progress and da 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 da. And I get it. I'm not saying that you're not always growing and evolving and changing and learning and expanding. However, when I speak of healing, I often speak of sort of the healing marketplace, right? The spiritual marketplace, where it's all about bettering ourselves and having more deeper Shakti vibrational matching frequencies and expansion and never-ending infinite consciousness and finding the truth of all of our chakras aligning with planes of existence and magic, right? And all those things, they sound great and they sound fun. However, it's very easy to get caught into the spiritual healing trap, as we like to say. The idea that something's wrong with us, we need to fix it, and that somebody has something for us, and if we would just learn their teaching or to unlock the mystery of what they have, or what this master guru person created 3,000 years ago, then we will be where we need to be. And it puts us on the hamster wheel, just like anything else. Just like, once I have enough money, once I have $1 million, then I'll just be happy and I'll be content. But from my understanding, that's not how life works. And while I commend people that want to grow and change and learn, if you're stuck in the space of like, something's wrong with me, I need to fix it, which unfortunately so much of the marketing, even for people that are genuinely trying to help people, it's there. It's like you're missing something and I've got the solution for you, and then people sign up and spend absorbent amounts of money only to do something for a month and then go on to the next thing because it didn't give them what they wanted. And that's, I think, a lot of the intention of this video, is that if you're someone who's seeking and you're going from thing to thing to thing, trying, this healing, because somebody told you just have to do this thing. I went on this retreat and it was life-changing. It changed my everything, It's like, cool, I got it. It was life-changing, everything's life-changing. I can have a meal, I can take a poop, I can go for a walk and have a life-changing experience. And the reason I bring this up is because when we start segregating what's healing from what's not healing, we start to miss, I believe, the point of what life is all about. Anything can be healing. And I joke that sitting on the toilet, you can have a revelation and experience some amazing amount of healing and growth and, of course, release. Whereas if we're just looking at these peak experiences as healing, as like I did this sacred plant medicine, blew my mind off, and I saw the infinite universe of everything, and I was told that I need to serve medicine and whatever these things that our ego is like taking in and trying to interpret. If we're thinking that that is what healing is, then we're missing all these more subtle frequency things. I spent a lot of time, when I was younger, in that healing world and trying to better myself and learn and grow. And of course, I still am constantly looking at patterns and curious things about the world and seeing what makes sense and what doesn't make sense. However, I realized at some point the healing journey, it's kind of like a pit stop. It's not the destination. We think of healing as the destination, right? Like, once I'm on the healing path, and then I'll eventually end up in this special sacred place. My hair is just a wild animal right now. What is that? I've got like plants and stuff in my hair. It's just constantly in the bushes, as you might say. Anyhow, I spent many years in that journey, and then I started to realize, there's a marketplace of healing that people get off at. It's like a stop on the train of life. You get off, you explore, but a lot of people confuse that and think that's the end destination, and they stay there forever. But once you've gone through this, this growth, and sort of a mountain's not a mountain anymore, and everything's possible and infinite, and you kind of seek and do other things, at some point you come to this place, and I'm speaking about myself. I came to a place of, okay, cool, like I learned a lot of healing techniques and stuff, but I'm a human, and I still, eat food and seek shelter and desire relationships, and, want to grow food and have animals and do what some might call homesteading. When I got to that place, it became very clear that these simple things, these things that are more mundane and not as, sexy and wild and life-changing and earth-shattering, they actually are the things that have the real magic. Which we say, the magic in the mundane. Aj and I host, we call sacred rest retreats, and a lot of it is just helping people out of this healing trap, because it's like, okay, once you've gone through it and you've uncovered all of your patterns and your ancestral karmic ties, and you know everything about your connection with your family and all your triggers and it's like, oh cool, like what about living? So we host couples and we host individuals here, very small intimate things, and what I've been enjoying about it is that people do just want to come, like we just want to spend time around you guys and see what life is like kind of on that other side when you wake up in the morning. And life in general becomes more of a meditation. The things that you're doing are the practice. You're not doing a practice in order to go live your life. Your life becomes the practice. Your life becomes the ceremony, becomes the sacred dance of infinite nothingness. So that's something I realized why I enjoy teaching homesteading skills. I don't consider myself some kind of like master homesteader. It's something I've been doing for a long time in different regards, whether it's raising animals or foraging and making foods and medicines and all this stuff. I enjoy doing that. But to me, woven into them is this sense of presence, is this sense of appreciation and gratitude and mindfulness. I'm not trying to trick myself into being grateful by sitting in the mirror and saying, I love myself, I love myself, I love, whatever these practices are. And again, not trying to knock them, I'm just telling you, that's not what I do to feel a sense of gratitude and a sense of connection. I don't necessarily do things to try to feel that way, or journal about how special I am every morning, and I am special because, and I did, for me it's like I'm living my life in such a way that the byproduct of living in that way is feeling a sense of connection, is a sense of gratitude, is a sense of joy. Something Aj and I were talking about today, especially with kids, it's like I see so many people trying so hard to figure it out, to have the perfect sleeping situation or raise their kids in a certain way, and they're biohacking and they're using all this scientific research to find the perfect sleep, and if they do this and they do that and they feed them that, and it's like cool, to each their own. And also I think a lot of the stuff that we're missing foundationally is often the problem. So we can try all these ways to hack it. It's like, but have you put your feet in the ground? There's a lot of people out there trying to feel more grounded and feel more connected to earth and nature, and they're like going to do all these spiritual practices inside of a building. It's like, well, if your intention is to feel grounded, have you taken your shoes off and have you put them in the ground? Because that's actually grounding yourself. So something to think about, what is the way in which your life exists? I was talking to my friend Nick over from El Quran, and just talking about the quality of life that we desire to create, and like think about the quality of life that you desire to have and sort of design a life that makes sense around that. It's easy to do it in reverse, like, oh, let me just do all these things and then try to figure out the quality of my life once I have all my finances set and once I have this and that and the other thing, and people just miss the point. Another big piece of this is when you think about, again, me, when I think about what really matters to me, people talk about money and how important money is and financial security and this and that, and investing in this and that and the other thing. It's like, yeah, money serves a purpose, of course, a big one in this world we're living in. And when you think about things that really matter, community, connection, friendship, health, having access to nature, the things that really matter to me, money is the one thing on that list that I can just be given, right? Not to say I am given it, but I could, theoretically, somebody could just hand me a check on the street and say, hey, here's $1 million, right? But nobody can hand you a check for, hey, here's a clean bill of health, or hey, here's a partner that you love, or here's a healthy baby. These things, they're very slow, they're very subtle, they take a tremendous amount of time. So it doesn't mean we shouldn't think about money and how we can expand upon it and grow upon it, but it is the one thing that you can just be handed. These other things are so delicate, so intimate, and no matter how much money you have, you can't just buy them. So it's something to think about. A lot of the things that we do in this world, and I know maybe I've steered off my initial intention, but I really don't care. A lot of the things that we do in this world, we're seeking a certain outcome and not realizing that the way in which we're going about doing it is actually missing the whole point. Like I said, wanting to feel more grounded or feel more connected, and we're doing these things to try to feel that way, rather than living life in a way that the byproduct of the way in which we live life is going to be feeling more grounded and more connected. I'm not saying I always feel that way. I have times where I get stressed out or overwhelmed or do too much or burnt out or whatever it is, but it's so much less than it used to be. And for me, if there's any healing or growth going on, it's just this slow and subtle growth of knowing that when I stay in this presence, in this mindfulness, that over time, eventually I'll just continue to evolve and continue to grow and continue to go towards that which makes sense. So I'm not looking for any kind of destination, like one day I finally arrive at this perfect place. And maybe that's in death, maybe that's what death is, who knows. But rather, these small, very life-based lifestyle things that we're doing every day in Aja, we're living in, we just see how they ripple out. Very, very, it's so subtle you almost don't even notice it, like your hair growing, and then one day you look back and you're like, damn, I've come a long way.